Just press got it. Okay. So did everyone receive the minutes from last meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Any corrections or the minutes stand approved?
Move they be approved.
I second.
Okay. Minutes are approved. So I thought we would start with updates from some of the things we talked about last year or our last meeting. One was the landscaping. I spoke to Rich Donofrio in September. I talked to him in beginning of September and said he pulled off the bogs of the bagworms and pruned the bushes, but he did not spray last May as there were too many people walking around. He said maybe he'll spray next May. He knows of someone who can give us a good price to do the actual spraying, and he plans to reach out to him. And he said about 8 years ago, another landscaper was brought in for current plantings. They planted too many of the same species, the Hollywood junipers. And he said that's why it attracts the bagworms. I don't know what happened. I don't know when that was, but he said several years ago, so before he was the landscaper. He said he also weed whacked inside the fences. He did say there was a pine tree dead on the north side, but he doesn't think this is part of Ocean Hamlet property, but he's planning to check that next time he goes. I think that's what you were referring to last time, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, but I thought that tree had been taken out for some reason.
Okay. Well, maybe it had, but he said he would check.
Okay.
So he's treating the bagworms. He's aware of them. He said we could spray. I don't know. He said he could bring someone else in to do that, but
can he spray in April? Maybe I don't know anything about bagworms.
Yeah, I think he was waiting. He would do it off season. And then we did have Mark Kane bid on washing the Duradeck.
Yeah.
I think that came in. Rory, you said it was like 1,200.
Yes, he will do the Duradeck, clean the Duradeck for $1,200. I talked to him about probably not using a pressure washer because I was concerned that it could be too much pressure and damaging. So he agreed that he'd spray a solvent of some sort, a cleaner on it, and scrub it, and then just rinse it off. He says he doesn't need access to our houses. He'll access each of the decks by ladder, and he can do it not this week, but next week when he does the railings, if we approve it.
Okay.
Is that for all six? Does all six need it, or number six might not?
Yeah, number 6 is a brand new deck on the roof. I guess we should probably go ahead and include that. It was for all 6. Also, they don't, if my memory serves me correctly, they don't have Duradeck on the master bedroom deck. So they wouldn't, I don't think he would treat whatever they have there, which I believe is Ipe. We had an Ipe cleaning and oiling budgeted for this year, but we never went forward with that. He had proposed power washing that, and there's been some discussion about not power washing Ipe and how it should be done. And we got another proposal, substantially more money. But I think at this point we're probably just going to let the Ipe gray and see if we decide to treat it at some point in the future.
Yeah. If we do treat the Ipe, it'll turn it brown. I kind of like the gray.
I'm happy to keep it the way it is.
Okay.
What do you think, Jeff?
No, I mean, look, the gray, you can always bring the color back if you want it. The gray looks fine, but again,
Right.
even if you wait a few years, you do you put the refresher on it and you put the oil on and the brown comes back immediately.
Right. Coming back to that roof, to the Duradeck, for some reason I'm drawing a blank, but doesn't our major roof have a segment of Duradeck? The flat roof? Is that included in the cleaning?
It's like, you mean on the very, very top of the roof?
Yeah, the roof around the skylights, I think was
What do you
Duradeck.
think it is?
I think that's.
Um,
I took pictures of it I had here years ago with my drone.
I
Yeah,
did remember talking to Mark Kane about that.
What's the purpose of the cleaning?
There's two roofs. There's the flat roof and then there's a slope roof. The slope roof is clearly shingles. I'm almost positive the flat roof is Duradeck wrapped around the skylights.
Steve, what's the purpose of the cleaning? Is it just for appearance, or does it actually?
Yeah, if you look at Duradeck's operating instructions, they recommend cleaning it to take off debris or acidic content or whatever. They just say clean it once a year. They're very clear about that.
Well, if he's up there cleaning it, he should clean the skylights.
I will mention that to him. I would, based on my conversation, I think that the proposal is only for the third floor sun deck and the deck off of the master bedrooms. I'm not familiar with Duradeck around the skylight, but if we have that, if we can confirm that, I can ask.
I'm looking at a picture of it right now. I don't know if you guys can see this in the camera, but that's the roofing. It is the Duradeck.
Yeah.
And the skylight.
I will mention that to him and see if we can get him to add that to the proposal, or if there'd be an extra charge for that.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been cleaned.
Jeff, can you send me a
Yeah.
still of that?
I'll send you the pics. Yep.
I'll forward it to him.
And even if he doubles the price to $2,400, I think that's still reasonable if he does the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the skylights have not been cleaned in quite a while.
And that's just glass. So that, yeah, you should throw that in.
Okay.
Looking at this, though, there's one unit. It looks like it's unit 4. Does not have the Duradeck around the window. 5.
Is that you guys? Are you for?
Yeah, why would that be?
See that? See that one? The black roof.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Everything else has the beige roof. That has black.
Is that
That's
different color
interesting.
Duradeck?
You win.
Maybe it's a different color Duradeck.
No. It's just I'm just showing you what I have. It's
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know.
Hmm.
Well, I'm going to be down there this weekend, and I can just climb up there and take a look. For sure.
Oh, you know what? I take it back though. That's the unit 6 has it too. That's unit 6.
In that case, it might be rubber.
Yeah.
You know, the roof
like
rubber
rubber.
they use.
Yeah.
I'll check it out and take an inventory of the roof.
Pam, we had a discussion about replacing the Duradeck, and you were going to have a meeting with someone. Did they ever give you a proposal for that?
I never got that back from Noah. That's a good point.
They were going to send you a proposal.
They were going to send me something. I'll have to call him and.
Let me guess, it's a Delaware vendor and he didn't get back to you.
Yeah, but I've been trying to cull through the. I have all these notebooks here. Jeff and I've been trying to figure out when this Duradeck, how old this Duradeck is, because we can't figure out if it, when they did all the shingling and all, it was 2014
It was
when
2014 when they did the shingles.
So I was trying to date the Duradeck if it was, because Duradeck should last, 20 years?
That's what he said.
That's what Noah said.
2014 sounds like a good guess. I don't
I mean,
have
that was when the major work was done.
Oh yeah, I was deeply involved in that. I think we did Duradeck then.
You think so?
It's a good guess. Yeah.
We can find a lot of the, we'll keep looking through things to see, we see proposals, but we can't see actual sign off of the work. But we'll spend, we'll keep doing that. Because that would just help date it, at least give us some idea.
Yeah.
But, people have said it right now, it's in decent condition. He did say like last year, he thought 3 to 5 years, but.
He didn't see, he was looking, he was looking for problems and he didn't see any.
Yeah.
Rory, just back to when you talked to Mark Kane, on Unit 6, one of the things that did come up was that when he did paint the boxes outside the carports, that his box was painted shut. If Mark can check to see if there's a way to make that better and check all the boxes to see if we can access them and not be painted shut.
Okay. I can ask him to take a look.
Or do you want me to? I can separately call him on that if you'd rather that. Maybe that's a better.
I'm not sure whether they're painted shut or rusted shut, but we could ask him to take a look at it and see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure our outside box is rusted shut.
Okay. So then he just painted over them, over the rust probably. Yeah.
Well, you gotta make sure they open.
We have to make sure they open. All right. Well, let's see if we can remedy that. Do you want to ask him or do you want me to call him?
Why don't you reach out to him on that, I guess.
Okay. I'll just say it came up in this meeting. Okay. And then I would just remind people for who have MediaCom, well, we all have MediaCom, you could put your service on vacation or non-season mode, and it's half price, which started September 1, if you haven't already done that. Any updates on, we were trying to get an electrician in to change the electrical?
Nothing new. I've not proceeded on that project at all. The concept was that we've replaced almost everything in the building except the original wiring is still there from 1980. I'm talking about data cabling and telephone. And the idea is just to replace it all with modern equipment, modern cabling. I had one estimate from an electrician that I just didn't trust at all. So I had to go to another. I talked to George Campbell about that problem, and he was supposed to connect me to somebody who could address it, but I haven't proceeded, and he hasn't contacted me. I'll keep working the project, but I have no progress to relate.
Okay. But
if we have an electrician coming out there, they might want to look at the power boxes in the carports as well. I don't know whether they're at some point going to need to be replaced, or if just getting them open and cleaned will suffice, or what. But that would be an electrician as well.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking we could actually just have them, buy a new box, replace it, 1 for 1, give us something pretty. Yeah, an electrician can give us advice on that. I'll remember that.
Okay. Elizabeth, any updates from Tower Shores?
So Steve just mentioned the rewiring, the MediaCom rewiring, and the community's done. So it probably makes sense to go ahead and do internally, because some people have had issues, I know.
Yeah, this is Jeff. I guess we've lost signal on one of the TVs, but it looked like somebody's done some recent work out of our box. So I know they've been playing with. I know they've been trying to fix something.
Yeah, when we had people out last year for loss of signal, they said that it's going into the houses. They replaced something and said that just the salt air and all the moisture ruins the connection. So cables going into the homes have to be replaced pretty frequently, but that is MediaCom's job on the outside. And then the insides are our responsibility. So that project's been done. If you were at the beach, you probably saw that the survey vessel for Orsted has been over by the state park beach, and they are proceeding with the planning to put 4 cables going in at 3 R's Road. BOEM has issued an environmental impact study that Tower Shores is going to combine with our other community associations in North Bethany and file comments. And it would be great for Ocean Hamlet to do it again once we get those comments prepared. The timing is, I think, November 20th when they are due. So we've got some time. But we need to make some political noise. And for those of us who don't live in Delaware, our voices aren't really heard because we don't have 302 area codes. But if anybody has connections to our local politicians, and we've put them up on the list of all the contact information up on the Tower Shores webpage in the homeowners tab, you can go and look at both for Highway 1 and the speeds on Highway 1 and safety issues there and the windmills. We're urging people to proactively reach out to their elected officials. Everyone probably knows that there was a fatality on Route 1. Joe Jezik, who was a longtime owner in Tower Shores, was killed in a cycling accident. And it was on October 5th, and he was coming south from the bridge and turned into the neighborhood and just got hit by a car. I don't know whether speed was involved or whether he just didn't see the car as he was crossing. He wasn't in the bike lane when it happened, but it was a terrible accident. He was hospitalized for medevaced and hospitalized for 2 days, and then it was a traumatic brain injury. And they took him off life support after 2 days. Just terrible. But there's a community, a North Bethany coalition for a safer North Bethany that has been around since 2020. Seth Hammond runs it, and they're trying to get crosswalks in North Bethany. There are 3 places that have been identified for crossings with the flashing lights, and it'll tell you your speed and the crosswalks. They aren't at the point but there are some supply chain issues. They have to use made in America equipment, and there's a backlog, so they can't get equipment. And I think one of those is supposed to go in 2024, and then 2 are supposed to go in shortly. There, I haven't finished my coffee. And then there's an effort to lower the speed limit to 45 on Coastal Highway. But it's my understanding that some of the politicians in the area don't support that, even though a coalition for Safer North Bethany has all the big realtors in it. So Dell's a part of it, Big Chill's part of it. There's community-wide support for the concept. So those.
A quick question for me, going back to the windmills. Do you know if any of the local chapters of any of the conservation organizations are active?
You asked that last year.
Okay, I'm at okay.
Yeah, so you all probably, because you're from New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
And the conservation groups have been very active because of the right whales and the whales that washed up on shore in New Jersey. I don't know that they've been as active in the Maryland project. One thing that is impacting the development is inflation. And New York just told Orsted that they were not going to. Orsted came back and said, you need to fund us at a higher level because of inflation. And New York said no. And so the New York projects might be in jeopardy, and that would be a good sign for the rest of the projects. There were some new leaseholds that were approved for wind projects off of Delaware, but they're so far out we won't see them, which is ideal.
Right.
And so hopefully, this pushes it off some time. They decide that the local pushback isn't worth it. They move them further offshore, and in the current economic conditions really should help us as well, because they're just not as profitable as they projected the wind projects to be.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Dune Committee, we were observing the higher stakes by the dunes. Are they building? What are they doing?
They're under our right now, because when Ophelia came in, I got a call that they were afraid that the stakes were going to wash away. And I know Rory has joined the Dune Committee. I had made clear that we had not approved that height of a stake. The installation of them was done, and I was told they were done with the plan that they would put up snow fencing. And the Tower Shores board never approved that. So this was just the team of people who installed them thinking they would save a step, because of course we're going to put up snow fencing, they thought. But Jennifer from DNREC came and walked the dunes and said they're the best they've ever been. She told the new co-chairs of the Dunes Committee that there's no need to do anything proactive at this point. The vegetation's growing great. They're tall. We've had a blessing of the influx of all the sand that's come from Bethany, and it's landing on our beach. So I think that those stakes can be cut in half and used for their original purpose, which was to stake off the dunes so kids aren't climbing on them. I don't know if you all observed, but this summer they were up at the very top of the dunes. So kids would climb up the dunes to play by stakes. They weren't doing purpose and intended purpose. So I think that we're going to see just normal staking and the ropes for the next season, and that's all.
I'm not sure why it is, but at least over this last winter, the dune was a foot or two higher in front of Elizabeth's house and my house than it is over 3, 4, 5, and 6. And it was literally very, very difficult to climb over that dune until, as the summer went along and people went back and forth, it cut a little bit of a pathway down. So one meeting I did have with Mike Riglia, he had asked whether I'd support putting walkways like Tom, what's his name? The unit north of us, Seaman. No, not Seaman. Tony Nordland's house. I said that I didn't think every house on the ocean front would be interested in funding those kind of walkways. But if Ocean Hamlet wanted to, I mean, if Tower Shores wanted to build those for everybody, you know, that would be a different discussion. But
we already share, though.
well, no, he was talking about building a walkway that would go out over the dune and then down on the other side, which would allow the dune to be higher. But as Elizabeth said, DENREC currently doesn't see any point in needing to do that. So
the fear with that is too that if we have a bad storm, they get wiped out, right? I mean, weren't the stairs impacted
Years
sometime?
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, they were wiped away.
Right.
Was that Sandy? I can't remember.
Yes.
Was it her?
It was a girl.
He'll join the committee too, except there's not been a meeting.
So how does the sand look today, Lori?
it looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, the dune is nice and high. I really don't know in terms of protecting the houses and preventing any sort of a flood. I mean, I don't know whether the dune, whether it's any different if the dune is wider versus taller. I don't know how you. I mean, obviously, if you put a taller sand fence in, I guess that would make it taller, but would making the dune wider impact anything differently than making it taller? But it looked good, at least in front of our 6 units the other day. So.
Where those placed, we have been able to see the beach at all if you had put up sand fencing there. It would have been like as if we were on a cruise ship and looking out at the ocean. It would have significantly impacted the views. I don't know if others had the same reaction to the post.
Yeah,
They were
we don't
pretty
want
much.
that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing I think we need to remain vigilant about is the discussion to eliminate the walkouts from our houses. And there's been a lot of discussion up at Atlantic Watergate about that because they don't share their crossovers. Each home has their own, and they say that those breaches impact what would happen if there was a storm. It would come into the community through those crossovers. So that's something I'm always mindful of in the conversations about the dunes, because I like to be able to walk straight out to the, I'm sure everyone else does too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that conversation has been going on for as long as we've been around. And it went really aggressive about 10 years ago, then it died off.
Well, hopefully it just stays a murmur.
Right. Yeah, I think there was a undeclared murder or something that caused it to kind of decline. I forget now.
Okay.
Next.
Any other discussions before we move on?
I don't think so.
Okay. Rory, do you want to walk us through the budget?
Sure. There are 3 documents that I gave Pam, and I think she forwarded to everybody. So we can start with our financial projections for the balance of 2023. We currently have $58,166.81 in the operating account, checking account. We have not deposited the dues yet. I haven't received all of the dues that were due October 1 yet, but I'm sure they're on the way. The projected expenses, that would be $12,000 income. The projected expenses that we have for the balance of the year would be for cleaning of the stainless steel railings. We haven't gotten the bill for the excess flood insurance yet. That was estimated to be $6,100 based on a 10% increase from last year's premium. I have not transferred any money to the reserve account yet for this year, so we will owe four payments of $2,000 each for a total of $8,000. That would bring our balance down to a healthy $55,166.81. That would obviously be reduced by the what we just approved for the cleaning of the Dura deck. In terms of the reserve account, we currently have a balance of $54,800.76. Once we make the 2023 payments of $8,000, we'll have $62,876 in there. Again, a healthy amount. It would be good to get that Duradeck number in terms of a replacement. I mean, at some point we will have some significant repairs that have to be done. The home inspection for the sale of unit number 6 did point out a couple of things that we'll probably have to address. We discussed the electrical boxes in the carport. They also pointed out that the hangers on the
Hurricane clips
on the deck, on the beams that support the deck, have a significant amount of rust on them.
Yeah.
That was pointed out in my home inspection, and I'm not sure we ever did anything about it. But
I'll talk to George Campbell about that. He's the guy who put the original ones in years and years ago. It's an easy job. He can do it.
There is some deterioration of the I don't know if it's a retaining wall or a foundation wall, but the wide creosote treated retaining wall that our houses are built on has some deterioration on the end of it, down close to unit number 6. I don't think that the wall itself is in jeopardy of failing or anything, but at some point that's going to need some maintenance. And
I'm not sure it was the concrete wall. I think it was the wasn't it the
wood?
the wood?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got a healthy reserve balance, but between those items and the rewiring that we're talking about doing, I mean, we've got some expenses that are on the horizon. So, and we did discuss last year about putting some of this into some sort of a interest-bearing account. I have a place or another. I have the accountant said the association can put money into an interest-bearing account. I need to explain the possible tax effects of earning interest. IRS allows a $100 deduction from interest, can allocate a portion of their accounting fees as a deduction against interest. The excess would be taxed at a 30% rate. But she suggested that there's no reason not to put the money into an interest-bearing account. Someone pointed out, obviously, we, in theory anyway, this has to be liquid. If you put it in CDs, that's going to tie it up for a while. We don't want to put it, I would assume we don't want to put it into a uninsured money market account. So if we want to have some discussion on that, we could make a few $100s in interest on that. Just a matter of how illiquid or how safe we want that to be. The next item would be the budget. I started with what we anticipate the January 1 accounting balance to be of $62,876. All of the expenses are basically the same as last year, with the exception of the insurance premiums. The insurance premiums, I estimated a 10% increase, which could be on the high side. The all perils insurance did go up over 9% from March of 2022 to 2023. So that's where I got the 10% number from. The flood insurance that we just paid only went up, I think it was 2 or 3%. It was relatively insignificant. And we haven't gotten it went up 1.5%. We haven't gotten the quote for the excess flood yet. So I don't know whether the $6,100 number we've got in there for an estimate for this year is going to be accurate. But I added 10% to the $6,100.
Just don't we usually get that number? Don't we usually get that in November? Is the policy?
Yes, we should be getting that any day now. I see no reason to raise the dues. I've proposed that we leave the dues the same at $2,000 a quarter, and continue to fund the reserve fund same amount. So that's my proposal, and I'll take any questions from the group.
The cash value of a deposit of the $50,000 is probably worth around between $2,000 and $2,500 a year. Can we just authorize Rory to make a decision and just place it somewhere?
Steve, where would you deposit it to get that kind of return?
4 or 5%.
Yeah, where would you get that for
I think, well,
completely liquid?
Yeah, my son's in the business, and I know there are ways to do that with minimum risk. But I'm just saying that there's probably 10 different ways to approach this, and can we just authorize him to just do it? Because it's costing us over $2,000 a year to not have it.
Could we get Kevin to give us a concrete proposal that we can look at the next executive meeting?
Well, why don't Rory? Why don't you just call Kevin?
Okay.
See what he recommends. He'll have the whole inventory of possibilities in there. But if it hits 4% or 5%, mortgage rates are well over 7% now, so there is support for that.
I mean, there are several banks that I've seen that have 4 or 5% CDs in the 6 and 8 month range.
Term CDs would be
we
fine.
could we could ladder those a little bit to give us some flexibility. That wouldn't give you the liquidity if we actually needed that money, overnight. But otherwise, it would have to be some sort of a money market account, and I'm not sure that FDIC insured money market accounts would be the same rates. But we can take a look into it, and I'll call Kevin.
So Rory, you're this with Tower Shores right now, and because we had CDs in 5-year CDs that they put in 2 years ago, and they were getting 0.5%.
Right.
And we checked out 8-month CDs for 5.5%. So with a penalty of a few $100s if you have to break them. So you're better off in the long run going ahead and investing in CDs is what we decided.
Yeah.
But we are putting into force a policy. It has to be FDIC. Any investments for Tower Shores have to be FDIC insured. Of course.
Right.
I'll check with Bank of America, which is who we currently have our accounts with. I don't personally bank with them, and I think Kevin is sort of affiliated with Bank of America.
Yes.
So, I mean, it would be easiest if we stuck with them, but I also have some contacts with some other banks here locally that can give us some kind of competitive numbers.
Great.
Thank you.
I don't think we need a motion for that.
Probably need a motion to approve the budget unless there are any questions about that or any discussion.
So moved.
I second.
Okay.
Do you want to call the?
I'm sorry.
All
All in favor of approving the budget?
Aye.
Boy.
We can also discuss once we get the numbers on the CDs. I mean, we probably don't need $60,000 in the operating account, so we could make an additional contribution to the reserve account. Probably have close to $100,000 in CDs.
Great. Yeah. That's worth $5,000 a year. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Any new business? Anything else that people want to bring up?
One item which I'm not certain if we discussed before, but it had to do with the storm shutters. It's been recommended that storm shutters need maintenance.
Right.
Most of that is lubrication.
Right.
And it was also suggested that storm shutter company in
East Coast Shutters.
East Coast, right? They do a service, and we could get a quote from them to do everybody's storm shutters.
I called them that.
Yeah.
The problem is they need to have access
Right.
to the unit. So when are we all there that they can coordinate a time to come out? It's the same with the cleaning of the outside windows. If they want to clean the screens and get in, they need to
We
have access to everyone.
concierge.
But is that the only issue? I mean, we don't have a quote from them.
They wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't get a quote. Well, I could get a quote, but I was also thinking, how would they be able to get in?
But I know we have a concierge service, so we could have her let them in.
Yeah, the same
for our unit.
The same that Rory you use.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some of us have keypads. You can get a code for the day.
Yeah.
We have
Well,
a keypad.
They're actually coming out on Wednesday because one of ours broke and we're not going to be there. So we just got a day code for them.
Right.
Okay.
we had our shutters lubricated just recently this spring, I believe.
Mhm.
Both sets, up and down?
I believe so.
Do
Okay.
you remember how much that was?
I don't remember. Sorry.
So I know Elizabeth has a keypad. We have a keypad. Steve, you have a keypad.
Yep, yeah.
Bill and Iris, do you all have a keypad?
We can't get it to work, but we have the concierge services.
Pam, do you all have a keypad?
Yeah, we'd have to figure out how to, it's only for our family. We haven't changed it, but we'll figure out.
Oh, okay. I mean, if we all had keypads and codes, that would work. I mean, obviously, the Sampsons and us use the same concierge service.
Well, I can pick it up. What do you want to do it in the fall? Do you want to wait till the spring?
I would do it now because we're facing a winter, and it seems to me that corrosion lives in ice and snow and all that stuff.
Okay. So
It also would be cheaper, I suspect, because it'd be off season for them. So they're probably looking for the business.
okay. I can certainly give them a call and get a date and then let people know and get a price.
Okay.
May I ask, what's the concierge service? I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, they have a key to our unit, and they come in and check things out when we ask them to, and
And we just had a washer and dryer delivered, and they were there to let them in.
that kind of thing.
Mostly in the off season for us, but yeah.
They come and check once a week or once every 2 weeks. Is there a pipe broken or, a window that got left open somehow or another?
Off season.
Off season, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody would send me the name of who to call, I would be happy to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
You call
Yeah, I'll send that to you. There's a couple of them that I know. Pam, I know you use Jack Martin for some work. Does he inspect your property in the wintertime?
On a regular basis, we have them come.
Good.
So Jack Martin does that. This is Patty Mulligan with Fortress. I can send you both of their contacts. And I know the other day when the storm was coming, Mike Emmett, who's the winter manager for Tower Shores, called me and suggested that we put down the hurricane shutters. And because I had the keypad, he just went in and brought the hurricane shutters down. And I would imagine he would offer the same service to people. I'm not certain of that, but
He does.
so I can send you contacts for all three of them.
Oh, thank you. That's a great help.
Thanks, Roy.
So Phil and Iris, you don't need your hurricane shutters lubricated?
I believe they were just done. I believe both up and lower were just done this spring, so it's probably not necessary to do it again right now.
Okay. And everyone else wants them done?
We have an appointment to have the repair done. I asked about having the service work done. She said that they were really, really booked up right now and suggested that we would probably want to wait until the spring.
Mhm.
But if we need them done and they can do them in the fall, we're good to go with that cycle, or we could wait until the spring.
Yeah.
You have them on site. Why don't you just get yours done while they're there?
The person that they're sending is evidently too high priced an individual to do maintenance.
Oh.
So he's only a repair person.
I got it.
So he wouldn't do the maintenance.
Yeah, he can't walk and talk at the same time.
Okay. Well, I'll see when they're available to even do the maintenance.
That'd be great. Yeah, and flexible time window here,
Okay.
whatever.
Okay. And also on that note, like I did call Shore Windows, I ended up booking just them to come out to do the windows facing the street in our house at our unit for May. I just put a date on the calendar. So So I don't, they said they don't really give group prices. So I don't know that it's going to be any of a discount, but just in people, if they want their windows cleaned, I get them on the calendar for next spring, if whoever uses them.
Yeah, they didn't used to be so popular. Now they're too busy.
So it's short.
They gave me an estimate. They did, it was end of season, so they did come out. I think it was like $110. It wasn't a lot.
And that's inside and outside?
Inside and outside.
That's cheap, actually.
I think I even said the skylight. I'm going to take the skylight out. So it might even be cheaper.
What was the name of the company?
It's called Shore Windows. I got it from Marcia. Here, I can give you their
They're
phone.
very good.
It's called Shore Window Cleaning, and it's area code 302-537-5025.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know our windows haven't been cleaned in a while. They really need it. Anything else?
I have a question. Roy referred to Mike Emmett. I think he's really good for like handyman stuff and quick fixes. He has come over and done stuff on a flash and been great, but I was wondering if anybody ever used him for like a bigger project, like a bathroom renovation or.
So we have ever, the Stangs have used them to redo their bathrooms and say that he does excellent work.
Okay.
We haven't used him for a big project, however.
Okay.
But
Yeah, he's been around for 20 years and has a pretty strong, solid reputation. I wouldn't hesitate to get a
I just
close
didn't
look.
know if he did more than
Well,
the light switch isn't working kind of thing.
yeah, he's capable of more. He's actually a builder. He actually had a building partner, and they divorced. Somebody went to jail. The partner moved to Florida. But this is old history. But on his own, he's pretty stable and responsible.
Okay, great.
We just had him come over and do an estimate like a week ago to replace a door off the bedroom and some fixing of the flooring, possibly putting in new flooring. He hasn't come back with an estimate yet. But also the guy Noah through Delmarva says they use him as a person when they lift up the Duradeck, any repairs that need to be done. Mike Emmett is someone so he does construction stuff. He actually also had him give me an estimate for the middle bathroom. But again, I haven't gotten an estimate from him.
we need to replace our slider on the main level. And so we were going to use Mike to do that as well. I haven't asked for an estimate yet. So maybe you can do them at the same time.
Yeah. So he talked about putting in some kind of vinyl door, something, and we have to look at the product before we green light it. So I'm waiting to see, actually literally looking at it and deciding what door we would put in.
Are there any standards? Because the doors could make the units look different, right? Do we have any requirements for the doors?
It has to be glass.
All right.
No, I don't believe. I believe since the windows, doors, glass, and so forth fall within the owner's purview, that's not common property. I don't recall any restriction, but I think the the door replacement we did in number 4 some years ago was not exactly the same as the original one. It was more in the line of a heavy duty commercial system that would withstand hurricane. So yeah, I would say do whatever you like, basically.
Do you remember what door you used? Like what product?
Uh, we used no, wait a minute. I think I did that with a workman, but we used the source of a window company in Maryland that provided materials for supermarkets and stuff like commercial grade stuff. And there is a difference between commercial grade and residential. We
Mhm.
opted to the higher end.
Mhm.
And Iris, is that door still standing?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right.
I know on our unit, we didn't enlarge it. If you look from the beach, looking back at all the units, the windows are larger on all the second floors except for us, which makes me think ours have, I don't know if they've ever been replaced or I don't really know the age.
Likely original.
Yeah.
It's
So
smaller. Yeah.
I think the person in charge of making sure that all the buildings were completely uniform moved to Naples, Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
it's kind of astounding to me that that it was not uniform, but okay. Well, I think we've finished what we need to finish.
Very good.
I do want to thank my executive committee for helping me with all the selling of Unit 6 and all the emergency meetings we had. Get that done. And
Nobody's allowed to sell anymore. It was too much aggravation.
And we saved our monies by, you know, it was a hard negotiation, but we worked it through. So that was good. Thank you for all your support.
Yeah. I will produce this recording. I'll put it on YouTube and I'll pass out the URL to get there. If you can, Pam, if you can share it with our new owner, that would probably be good.
Yeah, I took notes, so I'll write up a brief summary.
Right.
Send it by email.
Okay.
Getting back to the Route 1 Safety Coalition and the windmill thing and everything. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I mean, I'm sure Elizabeth is probably actively involved in drafting the letter from Tower Shores on those topics. If we feel that we should weigh in on that, if Elizabeth could give us a slightly revised version of that, I'm sure Pam would sign it as the president of Tower Shores and include that along with the other comments. So,
with a $100 bill.
If the group wants to do that, then I certainly will provide you with what we do as Tower Shores and revise it for Ocean Hamlet, Rory. I think it's a good idea.
I think the bottom line is what you said, that
We don't vote.
they don't listen to us because we're not voting for them. So,
Yeah.
Yep. Luckily, we've got a few folks in Tower Shores who are full-time Delaware residents, so maybe they'll listen to them.
But thank you for being such a good informant for us.
Absolutely. And I send out monthly before our board meetings, a monthly president's message if everyone's getting it. And I would recommend in the directory for Tower Shores, once you register for the website, making sure that you're signed up for text, because I communicate in an emergency.
Okay.
And there was a water main break on Admiral Road about a month ago, and we let everyone know the water was going to be turned off that way.
Elections.
Right.
I can say that. Do you have to do elections?
We do, right?
For us.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's annual. I don't know what your terms are, but
I don't either.
It's 6 years.
Very undefined terms.
Yeah, it's 6 years.
10 years.
I nominate the new guy for everything.
Elizabeth
That just
has
got on the
her
recording, didn't it?
Elizabeth has her hands full, and the new people aren't on the meeting, so the other four of us are already here. So
Yeah, I think the current administration may volunteer to go another 7 years, and I move that.
I second it.
It's a very fluid operation. We're getting things done. We're not wasting money, and we're profitable, and nobody's throwing bricks at anybody. So that's major step.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Keep going, but not for 7 years. Take it a year at a time.
Pam, feel free to resign as soon as one of your kids are old enough to take over.
They're getting close. They're pretty, yeah.
When's the wedding?
Next year, September.
Oh, I thought it was this fall.
No.
Oh, you have time. You have time to embezzle something out of the budget.
Yeah, I'm happy the Jews are staying the way they are. No, I think we are working really well together, and I really appreciate everyone's effort. So we're doing well.
Great, good job.
Good group. Thanks for doing this, Pam. I know it's a lot of work, and Rory and Steve, and
Yeah.
it's
And
a lot. And Phil, sorry.
We all have a role, so so the new people are going to have to take. You're with the Tower Shores. We're all with this, so we'll find something for them to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry they're not here. It might have been my fault because I did put Gmail instead of @me, but then I corrected it and called them. So I'll make sure I get the information.
Yeah. Well, they'll have the movie to look at, so I'll pass that along.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And good job, Pam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sign into the Tower Shores board meeting last week, so I know.
Good.
I wanted to personally thank Pam for her efforts in keeping us together and being our glorious leader for the past year. And I think she deserves a round of applause for her. Thank you. And we look forward to the next 6.
Memorial Day at our house.
All right. Iris, can you stick around on the Zoom after we finish it? That'd be great. Okay.
And Iris, I don't have your email. Can you send that to me?
Sure.
Because I never get to send you links. I only send them to Phil.
Philip, yeah, absolutely.
I think she did that on purpose.
Oh, well, if you want to keep it that way, that's okay too.
If you'd like to send that to me, I'll include that in the directory as well. So.
Okay.
Thank you for the directory, by the way. That was very helpful.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Nice seeing you all.
Let's take care.
Thanks.
Bye.